Welcome back to the Hub on Hollywood, an iHeartRadio podcast. I'm your co-host, James Rojas. On this week's show, it is a big one because I sit down and talk with co-director and co-writer of the new Blumhouse film, House of Spoils. We chat with the Massachusetts native, Bridget Savage-Cole, about the new film that is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video. But before we get to that, as we know, we are in the Halloween spooky season, it being October, and nobody celebrates as hard as Salem, Massachusetts, the Halloween capital of the world. And that's why the Hub on Hollywood has sent our Witch City correspondent, Jamie Blanco, to roam the streets of Salem, hanging out with the cast of the Disney cult classic Hocus Pocus. Great fun. So without further ado, Jamie, take it away.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Hub on Hollywood. I am King of the Pirates, Jamie Von Luffy, and I am here walking the streets of Salem, Massachusetts in Halloween spooky season. You can see the famous Bewitched statue there behind me with all kinds of people taking pictures. There's a tour going by. She's got her thing going up in the air, hundreds of people. I was almost trampled just a few minutes ago by one of these groups as they were walking through the streets of Salem. Haunted happenings happening everywhere. Every shop that you see is spooky in nature and fun. We've got a vampire shop ahead of us. Comic book shop, which is where I am definitely headed. We've got the largest statue of a witch in Salem in one of the businesses up here ahead of me. It's also a witch museum. Plenty of restaurants, tons of people. Very exciting times. And it is me! It is I, the King of the Pirates! That's right! Woo! And what are you guys doing here today?
Hey, follow me on the ground!
All right. And follow us on the gram, the Hub on Hollywood. So we're not only down here for all of the fun and all of the people and all of the haunted happenings, but we are here again with the cast of Hocus Pocus. They are going to be having a celebration today called a Samhain festival celebration dance party, where the cast of Hocus Pocus, 31 years after the movie, is going to be partying with everyone, dancing the night away. It's a traditional Celtic celebration. It's going to be a masquerade ball. We're going to take you into that party that is happening later tonight. So that is going to be awesome. Let's take a walk up and down Essex Street right now, which is the heart of everything that is happening in Salem. Let's go see what we can find. Vamp fangs right there. Looks very spooky. If you'd like to be a vampire, I suppose they can help you out with that. Hex, old world witchery. Sounds awesome. Psychic readings, the Salem Witches. There's a psychic reading going on right there, crystal ball and all. Jason, is that what you are?
I'm Michael Myers.
Oh God, I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
It's the movie Halloween.
That's right. Right. So I have a co-host on this podcast. He's going to be really upset with me.
Because you got that wrong?
Because I got my horror guys mixed up. So please forgive me, guys. Anyways, so Jason, what's up?
This
out
is
here.
Mike Myers.
So Mike Myers, what are you doing out here tonight?
Well, I love Halloween, and I like being here with all the people. And I hope everybody watches all my movies and gets a thrill out of those. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
You come out here and do you like hide in the bushes at all? Jump at people?
I sort of stand behind a tree like he does in the movie.
Yeah.
And then step out and come back in. And some people really get afraid. They start screaming and stuff like that. And, sometimes I'll chase after people and they like it. You know, they want to be scared. That's why they're here.
It sounds like part of the fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Why is it that you come down here and do this? Just for fun?
I do it for fun.
Awesome.
And there's a lot of other characters that get dressed up too, and they do it for fun too. that's what it's all about. It's all about fun.
Exactly. So for someone who's coming down here for the first time, what do they need to do, in your opinion?
Well, this street here that you're on, this is where it's all at. So if you want to get see all the characters, Frankenstein and all of them, this street here is where it's at. So they also have the Bewitched statue from the TV show over there.
Yeah.
But this street here is where it's at.
All right.
So if you come to Salem, you want to be right here.
On Essex Street.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what's your real name? Can we just
My
say
real
it?
name is Paul Foley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Well, thank you. Continue to have fun. I hope you scare a lot of people here tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good night.
So I'd like to personally apologize to every horror fan out there as I continue to get Mike Myers and Jason and all of these other horror people mixed up because I am a chicken and I like romance and I'm not into the murder. But for those who are into the murder, check it out. That's a cute clown right there. Oh my god. Excuse me. Hi. Do you float?
We all float.
We all float.
We all float.
I love your look. What you've got going on here.
Thank you.
Yeah. What brings you down? What brings you down to Salem? All these victims? I mean people? Nice. And how do the children react to you in general?
We all float.
They all float. I see. Okay. Well, that's fabulous. As long as you, I see you're taking lots of pictures and having lots of fun. Is that what it's all about?
That's what it's all about.
Wonderful. And how can people find you down here?
Just go down Essex Street.
Down Essex Street.
I'll
Do
be
you have
here.
any other pals down here?
We're all pals down here. You look to the left, you look to the right.
Okay.
We're all friends.
And what should people definitely do if they come down here, in your opinion?
Take a picture with me.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Bye-bye now. As we float away, as Frankenstein's monster here behind me. He's not floating anywhere anytime soon. So I'm going to enjoy walking up and down Essex Street for a little while longer, and then we are going to take you guys into the Samhain celebration with the cast of Hocus Pocus. Here we go. Bora!
What are we doing?
Bora! It's the Hub on Hollywood again.
What is this, a rat?
Yes.
Oh, I love
Something like that,
rats.
something like that. So, Bora, the last time I saw you, you tried to cook my son in a cauldron.
Well,
At
and
Fan Expo Boston.
well, I remember that. And it was so tasty. But you know what? I only got a finger because it took off. He's a little fast little rodent.
He is very fast.
Yes.
Thank God. Thank goodness.
Don't say God near a witch.
Oh, Lord. What God? What am I?
You are really...
What do I say?
She's screwing up. She's screwing up.
Nature,
Satan.
something like that.
Satan.
Okay, sure. Okay, Bora, so serious question.
Yes.
Does the cast of Hocus Pocus, do you have them in like a dungeon in your basement or something like that? Because they're always with you.
I have them locked with chains around their wrist.
It
Yes.
seems like it.
But you know, Vanessa, she's always cooking. She's the
Yeah.
cook, so she's always cooking up something. Maybe your son.
Oh, Lord. What? Yeah, no, we've gone over this.
No,
Yeah.
no, Vanessa can babysit.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
great. I think so.
Yes.
There's like a 50% chance he won't turn into a rat or a witch or something like that.
But he can turn into a frog.
Exactly.
We do like frogs.
Oh,
Yes, and I'm not kissing him. He's underage. Ribbit.
what's going on here, Bora? So what do people need to know if they can't be here? You know?
Tonight, this is the Samhain party, the Samhain celebration, where we take you 300 years back to when we were bobbing for apples and when there were, that's like, it's just a lot of parties. It's a big party with the Hocus Pocus cast. We have a band from Tennessee. We also have DJ Tilt, and we're just like, they're just doing signatures and doing photos. It's a lot of fun. Not signatures. Signatures is tomorrow night. But they're having photos with all their fans.
And it's just a bunch of Halloween.
It's just a bunch of Halloween. Yes. Are you having fun?
I'm having a blast. Thank you, Bora. Where can people find you?
Oh, it's Salem's with apostrophe S Black Hat Society on all social media.
Woo.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Bora.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you. You too.
Time to dance.
All right. Go, girls.
Ooh, hi, go girl.
Hello, Salem. In Dark of Night, by mystical aura, we summon you, Bora, Bora, Bora!
There she is.
Are you ready to see your host tonight from Hocus Pocus? Let's bring up here, let's see. My spell book. Let's see who we've got coming here tonight. Oh, we have Jason Morrison! Vanessa Shaw! Henry Katz! And Tobias Jelnick! You guys take
Yeah. Bora, have you ever seen Hocus Pocus?
Oh, I saw it several times.
Wait.
666 times.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, Salem? Thank you all for being here. And hey, we're gonna party with you guys all night. Are you ready? Yes. Yes. So this party's in 3 acts. You're in the first act right now. We've gone like hundreds of years back in time. And have you met our resident witches over here? Yes. And did they tell you about the games that are in the back there? Did they tell you about the Monsters of Salem photos upstairs? Did they tell you about the trick-or-treating? Yes? Make sure you talk to them, and we hope that we see you guys often tonight. We're going to take a little break. We're going to say hello to everyone. And then in our second act, we have a special treat for you with some live music. You guys want to sing? Welcome to the show. Would anyone else like to say something? Thank you guys for coming. We are very excited to mingle and party and frolic and drink and dance and have a good time. So thank you all.
And put a spell on you and dance, dance till you die!
See you out there, guys. It's gonna be a fun one.
All right, a lot of fun stuff. If you happen to have run into Jamie or were just roaming the streets of Salem either this past weekend or any weekend coming up, please share your videos, your photos to us. We would love to see you in your best Halloween costume attire and give you a shout out. But shouting out next is my next interview, and that is with Bridget Savage Cole. She is a Beverly, Massachusetts native and the co-director of the Blumhouse film House of Spoils. All right, I am joined by Bridget Savage Cole, co-director and co-writer of the new Blumhouse film House of Spoils, now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Bridget, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, James.
Now, we'll get into House of Spoils in a minute, which, again, I watched. I love it. But it's my understanding that you are from Massachusetts. You are a Massachusetts native right here in Beverly, right?
Yes, yeah. Born and raised. Born in Beverly Hospital. Went to Beverly High. Yeah, I'm a Massachusetts girl.
And growing up around here, did you ever think that you would not only be making films one day, but eventually screening them right here, specifically at the Cabot Theater in your own hometown?
No, absolutely not. I feel like, Beverly's a sports town. We were a lot more focused on like soccer and lacrosse. And making little funny movies was what I did when I was supposed to be doing other things.
That's how it usually happens. Yeah, like you find a camcorder, some relative's camcorder, pull all your friends, your cousins, and start making stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, we definitely had a handful of those. I mean, I wish we could find half of them. Those weird, that era where it was like you're shooting like a mini tape that then sits in a bigger VHS that then goes in the thing.
Exactly.
And so you kind of make recordings on that, and always just for laughs, So I don't think it was until college. Actually, it wasn't even until after college that you don't even think like Los Angeles and Hollywood, it's like Mars when you grow up in Massachusetts. It's just so far away. You're not even thinking about it. I never conceived that was an actual career path. That filmmaker was even like an actual job. We just like loved movies. We loved watching them. I went to college thinking I was going to be pre-med. And then I just kind of took a lot of left turns. So it was sort of after college, I sort of discovered I loved shooting camera. And then through that, I ended up getting into writing and directing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm originally from Los Angeles area, so I grew up, going to Hollywood Universal Studios and all these other places, and then it being a very, a lot of friends who go into improv or go into acting and theater and stuff like that. So that seemed very realistic. But one thing I was pleasantly surprised by moving over here about 5 years ago was the film industry is booming over here, and I feel like it's picking up more and more steam every year because of the film tax credit. We have a lot of like local stars, actors who come back and bring the talent here as well. So what do your friends and family think about, you doing this? Somebody from Beverly, going around and making movies that are now viewable wherever anybody is.
I think it's really exciting. I don't know. You have to ask them, but I'm excited to be making films. I feel like we pinch ourselves that we're actually able to be able to do this for our jobs. And my co-writing and co-directing partner, Danielle Crudy, she's not here right now, but we're feeling very grateful. I mean, when I was growing up, I do feel like, it was still fun. I don't know, for people who live here, especially the North Shore, these few times, because it was not a big industry town when I grew up, the few times a movie was shot there, it was like legendary, If anyone who grew up in the North Shore, will remember when The Crucible shot on what's its name island or whatever, Missouri or the other one near it, I can't remember. And just my dad got himself a job as an extra in The Crucible, and somehow got he's a contractor, his job has nothing to do with film, but we just all loved it. He got all of his construction worker guy friends, and they're all in these weird colonial wigs. It was just these eras when something did come, it was a really big deal. And when The Perfect Storm was shot, everybody had their story about how their cousins saw somebody down the street who saw Matt Damon or whatever it was, So it was is Matt Damon or is it Ben Affleck in that one? Anyway,
I think it's
Ben
Matt.
Affleck.
No, it's Mark Wahlberg, right?
It's Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Mark Wahlberg.
Another,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, another beloved Massachusetts star,
Yeah. No, but over here, the funny thing is we get casting calls and casting notices all the time, and we love publicizing them and getting them out there. But they always ask for local people from
That's
Gloucester,
great.
from the North Shore, South Shore, from Boston with the accent. The you can't beat that authenticity because people can smell an outsider. So if somebody is trying to be...
it was a pastime growing up. Everybody has the Boston movie that everyone has an opinion about which Boston movies have the worst accents and which ones have the actually good ones. And nobody agrees. You know, it's like, oh, The Departed, that was awful. That was horrible. And somebody's like, no, no, no. What was really bad is Good Will Hunting. And I'm like, no, 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 that's the good one. You know, so I feel like it was just basically trashing movies that had accents, bad Boston accents was like part of growing up here.
Yeah, but I love it, and I feel like I'm a Bostonian, but yeah, whenever I try to do a Boston accent, I rarely do, but yeah, it's so hard to do, but so it's so hard to sell. But
Yeah.
no,
My
that's
parents
why
have very thick accents. Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
alive and well in our household.
My mother-in-law has an accent, not super thick, but again, one thing I love about being over here also and being a reporter is talking to so many people. And I always say that everybody or many people that I speak to, they feel like they're a character in a movie because either the accent or the personality, it's so rich over here. So that we are blessed to have that over here in our neck of the woods. And so it's great that you are screening House of Spoils, as you mentioned, a movie you co-directed and co-wrote with Danielle Curdy at the Cabot Theater in Beverly. How did
Yes.
that come about? How was that arranged?
Oh, I asked them. I
Oh.
said, well, actually, so this is our second film. Our first one was a film called Blow the Man Down, which
Yeah.
is much more like New England oriented. And, you know, that first movie I ever made, it was a really big deal. I mean, I can't believe we've gotten to make a second one either, but, you know, we threw just a big old party at the Cabot, and it was really for us. This time along, Amazon, when I pitched the idea of like, can we screen it at the Cabot, please? I would love to show my friends and family. They actually got excited because they said, oh my gosh, you know, this movie has a lot of witch themes and kind of haunting, and it's going to be great right near Salem, Massachusetts. So I was excited they got behind the screening and have been really supportive of this. And for me, it's going to be a reunion. You know, basically it's like another wedding. You know, I get to see my friends and give them all hugs, and we get to celebrate doing something.
No, that's
getting
awesome.
this movie made. Yeah. So this movie was, you know, every movie is such a miracle that it gets made. There's so many ways a movie cannot get made. There's so many ways they can fall apart. It feels like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. And we started this project over 5 years ago. And, you know, we had pandemic delays. We had writer's strike delays. We had all sorts of things that kind of were obstacles. We ended up having to go to Budapest to get the shoot days we needed. And I had a child. I became a mom. You know, it's forever this crazy journey that we've been on in the last few years. So just to have it done, it feels like a real celebration of just having finished it.
No, that's incredible. And I was going to ask, so where was this movie filmed? Because you mentioned Budapest, but it doesn't look like Budapest.
It doesn't, but that's because of the magic of production design.
Love it.
Yeah, you know, we had to change all those outlets. That's like the real tell that you're in Europe. You know, you look
That's
at the
hilarious.
power outlets. Yeah, so we ended up in Budapest. I mean, trust me, I really wanted to shoot it in Massachusetts. I was like, oh, please, could I just do a hometown shoot? That would be so great. I'll have built-in childcare. It's going to be great. And then we just ended up having to make the best decision for the film. We got more shooting days, significantly more shooting days, by moving the whole production to Budapest. So, and then they had great crews there. We ended up finding a real ringer there who was our food stylist, this woman, Zoe Hedgedis. So this is a movie about a chef finding the person that could actually take this movie to where it needed to be with the food and the story of the food and the execution. It really sealed the deal for us for going to Budapest.
Yeah, and speaking of the film, in your own words, can you describe what it's about without any spoilers, of course?
I will just say it's about a chef trying to start her first restaurant, getting her break on a remote estate. It's going to be a destination dining, but the estate seems to be haunted. And whether it's in her head or real is something the movie explores throughout. So for us, it's a movie about work, actually. It's about work, and it's about throwing yourself into something that you're really passionate about, and what it takes psychologically to overcome your self-doubt, to overcome your confidence. And I hope somebody could relate to it even not just if they're, it's about a chef, but we wrote it from a real personal place of our journey to become filmmakers. And to me, it's about finding your voice, finding your confidence to be a leader, to try to do something original or try to do something that's your own. And what it takes, what do you have to undo? The learning, the bad things we've learned along the way, the bad leadership models we've learned, and sort of that psychological journey. And I hope somebody who could relate to it. I relate to it also as just becoming a parent. So that's another part. Just kind of ways that you have to step up into authority, step into a new role. So I don't know. I hope people connect to it and it helps give them. I don't even know what. I don't want to say too much.
No, yeah, we'll leave it.
I hope it's a fun ride
mysterious.
Ultimately for them.
It really is. And one thing I love about it, except for obviously there are a lot of great shots and sounds of food getting cooked and cut and prepped. So that was all great. And then things start taking a turn. But I love the anxiety that builds up throughout the film in a good way. And so, how did you come up with this concept of incorporate? Are you a cook yourself? Is that something that you're close with or close to, and then you wanted to, put that on screen, on paper?
I am not a cook. I would never call myself a chef or cook. I do love food and I love cooking, but in a very amateur way. I spent a lot of time, and so did my writing partner, Danielle. We both had the experience of working in restaurants, more as waitresses and bartenders, for more years than we care to brag about. But basically, through that, we really had this love of the characters that you meet in a restaurant and sort of this ragtag bunch and these people who are ultimately like hustlers and kind of outsiders, sort of trying to do something, trying to pursue something, and also just being inspired by the passion behind a restaurant, that it's something people have a dream for. And so we were trying to write a movie about a woman, finding her voice or, doing something really challenging. And when we stumbled into the idea of a chef, we were really able to lock onto it and could see the journey unfold. We also feel like food is something that, everybody has an amazing meal and an amazing thing they've tasted, or knows somebody who's an excellent cook and knows what it's like to be around that passion. And many people have, just the passion that it takes just to make a beautiful meal just for your family members too. It doesn't have to be a professional environment, but so we kind of felt like, oh, this is something you can really latch onto in a viewing experience.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but I feel like I can make a pretty mean fried rice, like a fried rice combo with some onions, garlic, egg. So that's like my go-to. If I want to impress people, that's my go-to meal.
A really proper fried rice.
Yeah.
I would probably saute some scallops and maybe find a nice little, I don't know what, something. Just, I don't know, a really good salad. I really like salads because you can't mess them up, but you can excel at them. You can make an amazing dressing. You can add some fennel. You could get fancy. Well,
who looks like they know a thing or two around the kitchen is Ariana DeBois.
Yes.
Is that movie magic, or is she really good with her hands with the cutting and chopping and all that stuff?
I'll never say, James. It's a combination of both for sure. But I think Ariana really stepped it up and threw herself into this role. She did a lot of training. She is a real hard worker. She is also such a technician. She comes from a dancing and performing background. So she really took the technical job of looking like a real chef very seriously. And we wanted to make sure she knew how to hold a knife and that we weren't going to get, called out immediately by everyone who's ever cooked.
Yeah.
And you know what, who knows, but Ariana really did a lot of training and she worked with some amazing chefs to learn her stuff. And we also just feel like she just threw herself into this role so full-hearted. She's in every scene. It was a really gnarly shoot. It was long. It was a lot of night shoots. It was dirty. It was gritty. And she really threw down. So we're just so happy we got Ariana in this movie.
Well, I'm impressed because, again, as somebody who also worked at a restaurant and behind the scenes, front of the house and back of the house, she looked right in place and just as if you did pluck her out of a 5-star restaurant. So kudos to her and whoever helped her, prepare for that role. So House of Spoils now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Let's see, what should people know about the screening tonight? Because not only are you doing the screening, but afterwards, my understanding that you're doing this Q&A where you can answer those questions and have this deep discussion about the film.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a screening and a Q&A, and it's also just a celebration. It's a lot of people I know, and it'll be a lot of people who have been supportive of the film. So I really hope this screening feels like a chance where I get to thank people from Beverly also, and all the people who have supported me and the encouragement I got in the arts as well. Beverly was just an amazing place to grow up. And it's full of haunted houses too. You know, I grew up in one, so I have a lot to thank for Beverly. And as you can see, I'm in a Beverly parents' house right now.
It screams Beverly.
I'm excited to get to also celebrate Beverly and the North Shore, as well as the movie.
Yeah, and I just have two questions that just popped in my head. One, what would your best advice, because as I mentioned before, I call this area Hollywood East. So many projects are popping up. Not only people, coming into New England to film, but locals here who are doing it as well. What would your best advice be for somebody who's from the area, who's getting into the industry, whether that's background work, body doubling, acting, or, behind the camera themselves? Is there any one piece of advice that you would suggest for somebody getting into the business?
It really depends on what part of the business you're interested in, but the best way is to just get any old job on a film set. Any old job you can get on a film set, you get to start asking other people, and you start to get to observe and watch and decide whose job you want and go to talk to them, So I think that's kind of the best way in Massachusetts to pursue it. If you have an interest in writing or directing, which is what my path was, I always say there's kind of no way but the hard way. You have to start writing and making your own things, and they can be short and they can be shot on iPhones, but you want to just be able to make something, finish it, put it out there, and then make another thing, and kind of get into that rhythm of pursuing things and making them happen. And ultimately that's where you find your voice. And that's the most important thing you have to do starting out as a writer or a filmmaker, is figure out what you have to say and what you want to say.
Awesome. And lastly, do we have any, future projects in the works that maybe coming to Massachusetts, maybe coming back to New England for yourself?
Oh, I can't wait for the day. I really, really dream of the day that I can shoot something in Massachusetts, and I will keep trying every project we have to convince the production that it makes the most sense. And, unfortunately, we say we bow to the movie gods, because the movie is its own beast and we're just on its wild ride, and you always have to do what's best for the film. But I am dying to come shoot here. I work on all sorts of stuff, but I can't really go into them.
No, for sure. I know a couple people who would love to be background actors, so we'll stay in touch. But Bridget, thank you so much for joining us on the Hub on Hollywood. I know people are going to love this film. Again, perfect time of year for this release. Perfect vibe, perfect mood for the season. And I can't wait for people to feel the same anxiety that I had while watching this film, but again, in the best way possible.
Okay, thanks, James, and thanks for this interview. This was fun.
Thank you.
And thanks again to Bridget Savage-Cole for joining us on the Hub on Hollywood. Be sure to check out House of Spoils, streaming now on Amazon Prime. If you haven't, the perfect film for this month, for this season, for this vibe that you're looking for. Also, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to the Hub on Hollywood. You can find us on YouTube. We are also streaming everywhere you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. But yeah, I am James Rojas. That was Jamie Blanco roaming the streets of Salem. We will be back next week with a new episode with more reviews, more hot takes, and more casting calls, because that is something that we love to do here on the Hub on Hollywood, try to get you in the latest film or project happening right here in New England. But until then, we'll see you next week.